Hello, everyone. Welcome to another review of The Last of Us, the TV show. This time we are reviewing episode 6, Kin. And as always, there are spoilers. I will be going through the episode with a fine-toothed comb. I watched the episode twice. I'm going to give you my thoughts throughout the review, and at the end, an overall review and score of what I thought of this episode. So, as always, there are spoilers, so let's get going. So, The Last of Us keeps trucking along at such a high quality, you wonder when the wheels are going to fall off. Well, you're going to have to look a little longer because this show continues to excel in its storytelling and the world building. It pushes past its video game roots and firmly plants itself not only as a great video game adaptation, but as a great piece of cinema. We start out the episode 3 months after the events of Henry and Sam's sad demise. Joel questions a Native American couple about the whereabouts of his brother Tommy and the Fireflies. They warn them not to cross the River of Death in the west and advise them to go east instead. If he is west of the River of Death, he is most likely dead, they say. Ellie cracks wise and she steals the couple's rabbits, and then they head off on their journey to find Tommy and the Fireflies. However, just as they start, Joel appears to be suffering from what amounts to a heart attack or maybe an anxiety attack. We are unsure at this point. And Joel recovers and they continue. They set up camp. Ellie asks what Joel will do when they do finish their quest. Joel wants to have a farm with some sheep. Ellie talks about astronauts, the best one being Sally Ride. They talk about Henry and Sam and how she tries to save Sam with her blood. Joel tells them it's more complicated than that, and the person they're going to see to help them will know what to do. Joel agrees to take watch for both shifts, but falls asleep and finds that Ellie has woken up and taken care of the things the way he taught her. In this scene, we see that Joel has a hard time trusting Ellie. It's a major linchpin in their relationship, but you do see that there is a hint of a thank you in his nod to Ellie when she said she did everything the way he taught her. They make their way across a bridge that crosses the so-called River of Death without incident. They find a dam and Joel tells her about how it makes electricity and tells her he doesn't know how it works. Ellie tells Joel, "You could have just made something up. I would have believed you," clearly making a jab at him about his earlier instruction on how siphoning gas out of a car works. I could only laugh because it showed me how their no bullshit relationship had matured over their journey thus far. The cinematography of Joel and Ellie being on this trek across the Midwest is stellar, adding to the epic scope of it all, even if nothing that spectacular is happening. This is what I meant in my earlier review about this show. This show is great because it knows how to balance the bombastic moments with quiet moments like this one, where Joel and Ellie talking about whistling and dressing, not the one associated with putting clothes on, but the one that has to do with hunting, while still making it equally interesting. Ellie and Joel run into a group on horseback who hold them at gunpoint. A dog sniffs them to see if they are infected. There is a moment of tension after the dog sniffs Joel for the infection and then moves on to see if Ellie is infected. What will the dog do? Will it see Ellie as being infected if she was once bitten but ultimately immune to the cordyceps disease? Everything turns out okay when the dog nuzzles and licks Ellie with acceptance. Their secret is safe for now. They are taken to a mountain town where Joel is finally reunited with his brother Tommy. They are fed a meal by Tommy and a woman, eating it with the ravenousness of two people who haven't eaten in a long time. Ellie demands her gun back after being leered at by a girl and trading some harsh words with the woman. Tommy tries to quell things down, saying things have just gotten off the wrong foot, and Ellie tells him they were going to have them killed. Tommy replies that a bad reputation doesn't mean you're bad. Not always, at least, the mystery woman responds while looking at Joel for an unusually long moment. There's obviously some misgivings that Tommy's new love we learn soon after has with Joel. The plot thickens. Joel and Ellie are given a tour of Jackson, the town that Tommy has now made home. They use the dam for most of their needs while keeping off the radio, not advertising themselves to the world, effectively secluding themselves from the rest of the world.
This place actually fucking works.
Joel in this moment finds out why it has been so hard to get in touch with Tommy. Wifey's gotten in the way big time. Joel sees her set up as communist in nature when Tommy tells him everything is shared equally. He quickly denies the notion, but his wife freely admits that, ding ding, Joel has hit the nail on the head. I laughed at this moment because it showed me who wore the pants in the family. Joel and Tommy catch up while having a drink. Joel never tells Tommy about Tess's death or anything about Ellie's predicament. Joel just isn't good at trusting people. His heart is still a shell after his daughter's death 20 years ago. He's stuck in the past while Tommy has moved on. It turns out that not only does he have Maria as his wife to worry about, but also a new child on the way as well. Joel feels betrayed by his brother after knowing he can't depend on him to accompany him south to the University of Eastern Colorado, where the Fireflies are apparently holed up. And there's an interesting dichotomy that is at play here. You have Joel, who knows he's a bad person and feels that Tommy's also a bad person due to all the people they killed in their past life. There's a difference between the two brothers in that Tommy has found a way to move on with his life while Joel hasn't been able to do that. You feel that Joel doesn't think he deserves to be able to move on with his life because he can't forgive himself for his past, while Tommy seems to be able to forgive himself by being able to open up his heart to new people. Joel struggles with that, with new people, especially like Ellie, who is a constant reminder of his daughter. After telling Tommy some not so nice words about whether he will be a good dad or not, Joel leaves, having a panic attack of some sort shortly after. It seems Joel's mental state is starting to affect his body for the worse. After which, he sees what he thinks is his daughter in a crowd who meets up with what could have been his granddaughter in a different world. It's a real sad scene. Meanwhile, Ellie is trying to come to terms with being a young woman when Maria gives her a period piece. Pardon the pun. Maria tries to play a motherly role to Ellie, who is not having any of it. She gets a new purple coat, eggplant color, Maria says, and a new hair trim from her, along with the relevant news of Joel having a daughter who died in his past life. Things further illuminate in Ellie's mind of why Joel is the way he is. Mariah shares her thoughts of Joel with Ellie about how he has killed people, and Ellie actually defends him. She makes an interesting point that Tommy has also killed people, and she is concerned about him. Maria, not Mariah, I keep calling her Mariah, says he was following Joel just like she is, and Ellie replies that maybe she's smarter than Tommy. The back and forth is killer, and I love it. I think this episode, in my opinion, is Bella Ramsey's best so far.
Hey Joel, check it.
I must admit, she annoyed me a bit in the beginning of the series, but I warmed up to her a lot in this episode. By defending Joel, does she care about him? Maria makes one shining point in this exchange between her and Ellie. The only ones who can betray us are the ones we trust. Isn't that the same thing as don't trust anyone? Okay, I thought so. Tommy finds Joel later, and they talk again, this time with Joel telling the truth about Tess's death, Ellie's immunity to the infection, and his panic attacks that leave him paralyzed from keeping Ellie safe. He literally begs Tommy to take Ellie to the Fireflies, which he reluctantly agrees to. Joel's having problems coping with his mortality, admitting that Tommy's more capable to take care of Ellie. This is where there's a little bit of unwariness of whether Tommy will give Ellie's secret up to his wife. Kudos to him that he keeps Joel's secret. Ellie knows Joel is planning to leave her and confronts him about Sarah. She tells him after telling him she is not his daughter that he's not the only one that knows loss. She's lost everyone she knows. That's enough for Joel to say that she's right, she's not his daughter, and he's not her dad, and come morning, they will go their separate ways. Joel has never been so harsh. Wow. Come morning, it appears Tommy is going to take Ellie to the Fireflies. When they find Joel saddling up a horse, Ellie says, "Were you planning on saying goodbye?" And Joel tells her no, that he's planning on stealing a horse. There's a funny exchange here where Tommy says he would have given him a horse, and Joel says, "I know." But that isn't the funny part as much as the part where Joel gives Ellie the decision of who she wants to go with, and she doesn't even let him finish and hands him her stuff and says, "Let's go." You can feel Tommy's relief when he knows he's off the hook. Joel and Ellie are back on the road. Joel shows Ellie how to shoot a scoped rifle. Another funny moment was when Joel says, "Squeeze the trigger like you love it," and Ellie tells him, "Are you going to shoot the thing or get it pregnant?" There was a lot of funny moments in this episode, making it even better. Ellie learns more from Joel. She learns that he was a contractor in his past life. She learns about football. They make it to I-25, the road to the University of Eastern Colorado. She learns about college life and that Joel actually would want to be a singer rather than a sheep farmer when they're all said and done. They run into a pack of monkeys who are running wild on the campus. They find a packing slip on a table when entering a biomedical building, and this is where I was reminded of the video games when this happened. An obvious call out to the source material. The scientists must have left. They see a gang of thugs outside a second-story window and quickly decide they should leave. They take the horse, but not before being ambushed by one of the thugs that Joel quickly kills. Soon after, they find that Joel has been stabbed with a piece of wood. They have no time, however, because the rest of the thugs come after them. They leave just in time, but after that, Joel falls off the horse apparently dead from the wound. Ellie is in tears and says, "I can't do this without you. I don't even know where to go." It seems in the world of The Last of Us, nothing stays good for long. It's a sad world where just when Joel and Ellie start opening up to each other, they run into misfortune again. I, for one, don't think Joel is dead, and I'm sure everyone else feels the same. That would be a shock because obviously that would be a huge deviation from the video game. How big would it be if they did make that deviation? Just think for a moment. Let's say that Joel died and Tommy had followed them and finds him dead and then takes over and he finishes the journey to take Ellie to the Fireflies. But we know that will not happen. Joel's coming back. Pedro Pascal in this role is just too big. I don't see him leaving. Not just yet. So we'll see. It's just the question is just in what way will he come back? And we will see that in the next episode. So overall, I love this episode. I really thought this was, like I said before, Bella Ramsey's best episode. I really enjoyed her a lot in this one. She didn't annoy me as much as in the other episodes. I have to admit she was annoying, but I still liked her. She's supposed to be annoying. In this episode, I liked her a lot more. I'm starting to warm up a lot to her. So for this episode, I think she was the MVP. She really did kill it. And then also, I found the interesting dichotomy between Joel and his brother Tommy, how they're both similar but yet different. Joel has been, he's killed people. He's a bad person, but he doesn't know how to forgive himself, so he's stuck in the past, while Tommy is the opposite. He is bad also, but he has moved forward and is looking to the future, and he's learned to love people and I think he's learned to forgive himself, which is, like I said, an opposite. He's totally opposite from Joel. So that was interesting, and there's a lot, and then obviously there's the dynamic between Joel and Ellie. Things are. You can tell they're getting better. In the beginning of the episode, things are good. And then they get really bad when they get in town. And, Ellie's questioning whether Joel gives a shit about her. And there's a real dark moment there where you think, holy shit, maybe Joel's going to let Tommy take her. But then it ends up being Joel ends up giving her the decision, and she automatically takes the decision of going with Joel. And then you see how their relationship gets a lot better when they go back out on the road and things are better. And it seems like when they're on the road that things are a lot better between them. And then when they get other people involved in their dynamic, it destroys everything. So that's interesting. And then everything is good. And then what happens? Joel gets stabbed. And now Ellie is in danger of losing Joel. So that is the world of The Last of Us. If you've played the video game, you know how dark it can get. And this is what the show's doing rather well. It's made some little deviations here and there, but ultimately I support all the deviations that they have made, and we'll see what they do about Joel in the next episode. So overall, I give this episode a 9 out of 10. I loved it, and I am looking forward, as always, to the next episode. So, all right, guys. Thank you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in my next review of The Last of Us. Have a good one. Bye.